Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel and welcome to our game recap of Switzerland and Italy. Defending champs coming into this one looking to try and continue their run here in Euro 2024, but it's come to a halt after a fantastic 2-0 win for the Switzerland side. They dominated this game from start to finish. And we'll get into the game recap in a few seconds here, but I've got to be honest, Switzerland fantastic for me. I came in this game thinking they'd win the game. Not the way they won the game. I didn't think they'd dominate the way they did in that game there. And all respect to Switzerland, all respect to how the side set up, especially Granit Xhaka, who dominated from start to finish in this game. He was fantastic. And for Italy, he came in as a young team in the tournament, a team that's in a bit of a transitional phase. Maybe Spalletti could try and get something out of the group, but it wasn't to be. There's been positives with the side this tournament, but I think a lot to work on coming into the World Cup in 2026 because this side, it lacks creativity. It is solid enough for the back. I think there were some defensive mistakes at times, but for me, the build-up play, the creativity, that's where it lacked. It looked like a team that never played with each other. I think that's a lot of learning to be done and some building blocks to be created along the journey. But that's for the future. Let's look at this game here. The opening few minutes was fantastic from the Swiss side. In the first minute, winning a corner or so and getting forward and pressing hard up the pitch. I think the key for the first 20 minutes was the Swiss pressure, Italians' inability to play out of the press, and the Swiss ability on the board to be comfortable. They played apart the Italian back line. I think it's the first big chance of the game. Fell to Embolo in the 24th minute after the Swiss side had dominated the first 20 minutes, a few long shots, a few half chances on goal. They just were sort of overpassing a little bit and not making the right decision, I thought, in the final third. I thought it might come back to hurt them, but the 24th minute, Embolo was through 1-on-1 with Donnarumma. He sort of telegraphed it, though, and his shot was too close to Donnarumma. He made the important save. That was the first massive chance of the game in the 24th minute. Italy then tried to grow back into the game around the half-hour mark, stringing together a few good ball movements and a few decent balls into the area, which Akanji was dealing with well. Jan Sommer didn't have to do much in the first half, and as well as Fabian Schär got rid of a lot of those balls that were cross into the area. But it felt like for Italy, it was counter-attack versus the Swiss press and Swiss possession. They were very hot up the pitch in a very hot day. They committed numbers forward and they committed to press as a unit, and it really caught the Italians out. Similar to what we saw at the same ground with the Spanish. The Spanish really caught them out with their press and their ability to press from the front, press as a whole 10-man unit, and Italy couldn't play out of it. And again, we saw that in this game here. Eventually, though, the pressure would show. Remo Freuler would find the back of the net in the 37th minute. It was a fantastic build-up, a ball into Brulin Bolo, hold the ball up, played the ball to Ndoye. He left it off for Varga, made the run in behind, stretched the back line. Varga then fantastically sees Remy Freuler, made the run from the top of screen, far side of the ground, directly across the ground, unmarked, takes a fantastic first touch with his right foot, and with his left foot, right foot at home at the near post. Donnarumma had nothing to do about that, and it was just a fantastic team goal. A lot of players involved, and it was deserved. After 37 minutes, that could have been 2 or 3-0 up at that point in time. A few half chances from corners, obviously that brilliant Bolo 1-on-1 chance, and you just thought this was deserved. It was about time they broke through. I almost said it on the live stream as well. I said, the pressure's going to show here. I can feel a goal coming, and merely minutes after that, they find the back of the net, and it was absolutely deserved. And Remo Freuler, alongside Granit Xhaka, dominated the centre of the park. I touched on them in a combination just later in the video, but they were fantastic from minute one. The Italian midfield could not get any control of the game, couldn't get a foothold in the game, and these two were pressing high up and alongside the wingers and the striker, and then dropping back as deep as centre halves in the second half. They covered every blade of grass, and Remo Freuler absolutely deserving of that goal there. And who would have thought a Serie A player scoring against the Italian side? So it was 1-0 to that point in time. A bit more control towards the end of the half, and it ended into half-time. And 1-0 to the Swiss side. Again, deserved, but they'll be kicking themselves. They could have had 1 or 2 more goals, you'd think. So they went into half-time with a lot to work on in terms of they've had a good, solid, foundational performance. They want to go on and kick on and produce that cushion, that buffer, and score a second here. And it wouldn't have to wait long into the second half, merely 27 seconds into it. The Italian team had kick off. They turned the ball over almost instantly, and they wouldn't see the ball yet after that point in time. The Swiss build-up was fantastic. They worked the ball out wide. Arbischer alongside Granit Xhaka working in tight areas towards a corner. Somehow, Vargas was left unmarked on the edge of the area. He was at a drive, unmarked as well, into the penalty area and whip a beautiful finish, sumptuous finish into the top right-hand corner, away from Donnarumma, unable to make that save yet again. And it made it 2-0 just 30 seconds into the second half. And a 2-0 lead they absolutely warranted, they deserved. and it summed up Italy. From a kickoff, to lose possession was instant in the first sort of 5 to 8 seconds, and then not see the ball for the next 30 seconds until the balls find the back of the net. Just sort of summed up the game for me. The Swiss side, fantastic, piecing apart of the Italian unit. Granit Xhaka, Erbischer, Vargas, all working in tight areas, piecing apart the Italian backline, exposing the lack of defensive acumen in terms of marking the man driving into the area. Too much space for Vargas to pick his spot, to drive into an area and find the back of the net, but take nothing away from the finish. A fantastic finish. And at the moment this tournament, to get past Donnarumma has been probably the most difficult thing to face the Italian side. He has been a brick wall in goal. And yet again, he still found that top right-hand corner. So a fantastic finish from Vargas and really summed up the rest of the game. It was from there on in, the Swiss sat in deeper. They were fine and content just to sit without the ball like they did versus Germany, give up possession and try and win the game of football. Italy's closest chance probably came with Fabian Schär heading a ball into the area. He shouldn't really have headed, should have left it go for Jan Sommer. He headed that ball back towards goal and hit the upright, and it felt like time had just paused for a second. Jan Sommer was left rooted to the spot. Everyone was watching that ball sort of sailing towards the opposite corner, hit the upright and stayed out, and that was just, again, sort of the theme of the game. It would have been a really lucky moment, but it would have been a moment that the Italians could have used to try and springboard themselves back into the game. But outside of that, the Italians really struggled. Scamacca hit the upright in the 73rd minute, but I think he was offside. The flag didn't rise in the end, but he hit the upright from very close range. Other than that was Fagioli, long shots. Cristante tried some long shots as well, but bodies were in the way. Balls flew over the crossbar, and there just was not enough for the Italian side. A lack of creativity, a lack of ingenuity in the final third, and a real ability to work hard to piece apart a back line. Very similar to how they played against Croatia. So the Swiss sat in after that second goal, and the Italians had no real chance. A few counter-attacks for the Swiss. They couldn't find the back of the net with 83rd minute attempt and flurry forward from the Swiss side. But other than that, it wasn't much to talk about in the second half. It was well managed from the Swiss side and a fantastic full 90-minute performance, running out 2-0 winners. Again, it just sort of showed a side that played together. It sort of parallels Austria in many regards. They probably weren't at their best last night, Switzerland, but I can see a lot of comparisons within them and Austria. A team that worked together, pressed together in this game here, that managed games well. They don't have to press the full 90 minutes. They sat in from the 60th minute basically to the 85th and then would go on and try and counterattack later in the game. But they were willing to give up the ball to defend and to manage the game. They went out in the front foot and took the game to the opposition early on. They had important players in midfield areas. Remy Freuler, Granit Xhaka, fantastic with the park. They've got willing runners up top in Ndoye and Vargas. Brilliant bowler, despite having a really poor game in my eyes. Still did very well holding the ball up. Not the most clinical finisher, but works without the ball, which is fantastic. And then at the back, Fabian Schär, not his greatest game, but still very solid. Manuel Kanji, fantastic. Rodriguez, fantastic. Erbischer, world class for me. I think he's a player that could get a move come the summer because he's been really, really good consistently in that wing-back role. Switched to the left-hand side and did a great job out there. All these players contribute in some way at some point in that game, and that's just what that team, the team mentality of this tournament showed. And it looked like the Italian team made 6 changes. It looked like a team that didn't know each other to a team that has worked together so long and knew each other inside out. They worked and pressed as a unit. And in a press, if one person's off or one person overpresses or doesn't go enough, the whole press falls apart. But for the first 40, probably 50, 60 minutes, this press was exquisite. There was no holes to be made. Yes, the Italians aren't great for playing out of the press, but they were suffocating there, could not find an avenue out. And it was just amazing to see, especially under the heat of the Berlin sun. They did incredibly well to hold that press for the full sort of 50 to 60 minutes there, fantastically well. Italy, once again, that showed that they've got a long way to go. Lacked a lot of quality on the ball, a lot of quality in the final third as well. The creativity thing for me has been the biggest problem. No goals against Spain. A late sort of heroic type goal from Zaccagni, but wasn't due to great build-up. No goal here against the Switzerland side. Struggled early on versus Albania. There is a common trend here where we're not seeing the creativity, free-flowing goals from this Italian side. Spalletti wants to play that possession football, which he brought across from club football, but it's not quite worked with his Italian side. Does he have to go back to the more traditional counter-attacking orientated where they sit in deep, they defend first and attack second? I don't know, but that might be an avenue forward for them. But a lot to work on in the World Cup qualifiers and when they reach the World Cup, which I assume they will in 2 years' time, because there's a long way to go for this young squad. There's a lot of excitement there. I love a lot of the young players, but they haven't showed enough for me in this tournament so far. That now means Switzerland qualified to the next round, the quarterfinals. They'll either wait to face England or Slovakia. So again, probably a really weaker type draw. So a real opportunity here for them to make a semi-final and potentially, if their luck goes their way, a final. I'd love to see an Austria-Switzerland semi-final on that side of the bracket. It's a weaker side, but those two teams for me are one of the most entertaining, exciting teams in there. You've got the Netherlands, you've got the English side in there. Both teams have heavily underperformed and will have a lot of things to work on. But the Switzerland side, probably 7, 8 out of 10 last night, not at their 100% best. They can go up a few more gears. We saw what they can do versus Germany in terms of sitting in. We've seen what they can do versus Italy in terms of playing football and pressing hard up the pitch. They've got many tools to their toolkit and can definitely apply that versus one of those big teams. And I think they're well placed. They look like a unit that's together and could definitely make a way towards a very memorable run here in the Euro 2024 tournament. Speaking of our players of the game, starting with number 1, Granit Xhaka. Fantastic. The captain covered every blade of grass. Said it in the live stream. 101 touches, 94 out of 98 passes completed, 3 key passes, 2 out of 3 accurate long balls. Did not lose a single duel last night. Was fantastic. And for minute 1, he was one leading that press. Even in the second half, where they were sitting a bit deeper, Granit Xhaka all of a sudden spurted a press on the back line. First man Chini, I think, to go backwards. And all of a sudden, the whole Swiss side joined him. He's a fantastic leader. We've seen what he's done this season with Bayer Leverkusen, the way he's revolutionised his game since the last year with Arsenal. He's not just a holding number 6 that lacks that ability on the ball. People have said, yes, he showed that. Okay, I understand he has moments in time, seasons prior, where he's good on the ball, but he's turned into this player now that's a proper number 8 that can pick the ball up and drive into spaces, that makes the right choice on the ball 100% of the time. I don't think I see him make the wrong choice any time on the pitch there. In this game, he's a leader. He leads from the front through his actions, so his ability to play on the ball, never plays a bad pass, and sees the game very well. Then that's the thing I think I've seen this season with Bayer Leverkusen. He's seeing the game much better than he has in the past, I feel. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like he's seen things before they happen. He knows the movements that need to happen. In that second goal there, him and Eberscher in the corner, the little 1-2 plays, working in tight areas, and then finding the right time to spread that ball out to Vargas to allow him time to shoot. It's a visionary to see that type of stuff. Yes, he's not up there against some of the best number 10s and number 8s in terms of creativity and vision, but his goal scoring ability and that now added creativity to his game makes him one of the best midfielders in the world. And he showed that last night. He was captain courageous in many regards, did everything right and didn't fall short. The only thing I was missing in that game was a Granit Xhaka long shot, it felt like, but he was fantastic for minute 1. And for me, very, very close to man of the match. Ruben Vargas, again, fantastic. 8.5 match rating, 1 goal. That fantastic whipping effort. The assist as well to find Remy Freuler. 42 touches, 90% pass accuracy, 2 key passes. Made the 1 out of 2 successful dribbles, 3 out of 7 ground duels won. It was very important, stretching the game for the side, playing out in the flank. Didn't see much of it in the second half because of the way their team set up and eventually came off the pitch. But in the first half, when they play with possession and they've got a team camping on the edge of their own area, Vargas is very important. Very important to play in this game. Dropping balls off, making runs off the ball, then dropping back in to find the ball again. Worked really well with Granit Xhaka. At times with Eberscher as well. Very, very fantastic work these guys do with the flanks. The wide areas, they stretch the game really, really well. And I feel like Vargas was pivotal. Obviously, the pass was fantastic. To see that late run, fantastic. That's a tick. That finish, A+. In terms of whipping that into the top corner. But even outside of that, pressing high up the pitch, those frontline players, those wide players are pivotal to controlling this press and getting it going so well. They press as a unit. He was pivotal to that. His passing, his play, his interplay. Fantastic work. And I think him and Ndoye for me is some of my more favourite players in this tournament so far with the work they've done. They might not be the fashionable players. They might not be the players that will be the household names. But what they've shown so far is in a good system that's set up by a great manager, they'll be very pivotal to teams. Club football-wise as well. Look at club football. These are players that, if you want to set up a pressing system, a system that you have to work hard with and without the ball, these are players that suit it very, very well. So Vargas for me, superb. And then finally, Manuel Akanji, my man of the match, 7.5 match rating, 4 clearances, 2 blocks, 2 interceptions, 67 touches, 95% pass accuracy. Did everything and did it well. Whenever the ball was whipped into the area, it was Manuel Akanji to get rid of it. Important tackles, important blocks from the few Italian shots that were put on goal. Cool, calm, composed at the back. Ooze that Man City quality, which we've sort of said with a lot of Man City players so far in this tournament. Whenever they're playing for the national team, you can see that pep, little drop in spice in there because they know how to play these type of games. They know how to manage games of football, and he was fantastic in this game from minute 1. As I said, ooze that composure and control out from the back. Managed the game fantastically well. Looked the most consistent out of all the defenders. Did the most defending out of all the defenders in many regards. Ricardo Rodriguez pushed on a lot. obviously, the wing backs were pushing up and basically wingers in this game, and Fabian Schär was not at his best. So Manuel Akanji for me was superb for minute one. Read the game really well, and any Italian chance they had was likely we're going to come from balls whipped into the area because they couldn't create breaking through the lines. And every time the ball was whipped in the area, it was Manuel Akanji in the way. So fantastic for him. Grembu Fraulo was very close with a fantastic goal. His work with Granit Xhaka in midfield has been an underrated story for mine in the tournament. They both were very good in this game. But for me, it was Manuel Akanji won man of the match. And it was a Switzerland side who go through to the round, past the round of 16 into the quarterfinals after a 2-0. Fantastic, dominating, superb, pressing performance to beat the Italian side. Questions asked by Italy: how do they respond? How does Spalletti get this unit ready for the World Cup and the World Cup qualifiers for Switzerland? On the weaker side of the draw, potentially Slovakia or England, they have to wait for in the quarterfinals. There's a real chance here for a semi-final berth. I think it's the first time in a long time they've made it through to the quarterfinals. What a chance to go on even deeper and make a real fist of this tournament. There's a real chance here, and it could be one of those stories that we might remember back to in the Euro 2024. Is this side potentially making it deep in the tournament? They've got some very attractive footballers. They work great as a unit. There's no reason why they can't push on any further. With that being said, ladies and gents, if you enjoyed the video, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Player Zone channel for more videos and podcasts like these, and press that post notification bell so you know when we upload our videos and podcasts here in the channel. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the upcoming football, and I'll see you guys on the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.